Alright, so we are here to show the Fluid Detailer plugin for Maya. Go ahead and go Windows, Settings, Preferences, Plugin Manager. To load the plugin, down here just check this box, or if you don't see it there, do Browse, find the MLL, open that up. When you load it, it should add this menu option up here, Fluid Detailer with the Launch GUI, and I'm going to do that in a sec. But first, I'm going to go ahead and create a Maya Fluids container here, which is the basis for our plugin. This is basically the low resolution simulation that we start out with, that we will then create a higher resolution simulation from. You can have two containers and have one selected as the input and one as the output, or you can just start with one, and then when you do create, it'll copy it for you. So this is our tool here. I'm going to go ahead and hit create. It takes a little bit of time here at the beginning because it has to create the noise values that it used to generate the turbulence. So once it does that, it only has to do it once. And once it does that, then everything goes much quicker. But while it's doing that, go ahead and talk about what's going on in the tool here. So turbulence strength. Basically, as we increase the resolution, we add in turbulence to add new details, and this value determines basically how strong that turbulence is. If you leave it just at 0, then it's basically a straight upsampling of the fluid container. And resolution multiplier is basically how what resolution the high resolution container will be at. It's basically just multiplying the resolution of the original container, and the noise is done. So the resolution multiplier, good value, 2 or 3 is what I've been tending to use. 4, I'm probably going to use that maybe if you want to go really high. 5 might be pushing it, but you can go as high as you want. It'll just take a lot longer, and it depends on how much detail you want. Automatic mode, when you have this checked, which most of the time you probably will, basically when you hit play down here, it will update. Actually, let's go ahead and show that now. So this is going to be the resulting output fluid. That's the input fluid. Go ahead and hit play here. You'll see it'll start updating. It goes pretty quick at the beginning because it doesn't have to calculate the turbulence values. It slows down a little bit as you get further in. And this is going to keep the simulations pretty basic here because the computer is not the fastest, but we'll stick a nice simulation at the end of this video to show some good results. Yeah, so when you have automatic mode checked, it basically will automatically update every frame. If for some reason you wanted to just have it sample this fluid container once to create the velocity field over here, then you could leave that unchecked. And if you are done and you don't want to see the original low resolution, you can just uncheck the visible input. I would not recommend doing that while simulating because apparently Maya does not simulate hidden fluid containers. So if you have it visible and try and run it, this won't update correctly. So don't do that. But otherwise, basically what we're doing is we're setting the velocity field in this high resolution fluid container. But otherwise, everything else you can go ahead and play with as normal if you wanted to. Currently it's just copied over from the low resolution simulation, but say if you want to show the velocities, go ahead and do that. You can just keep going. So I mean, render values you can change, diffusion, any of that sort of thing you can add in. As far as things you might want to look out for, since it's a higher resolution container, the cell sizes are smaller, so if you have really high velocities, you could run into some dissipation values dissipation issues, but you can just go to substeps and increase those if you want, if you have that issue, and it'll just have more substeps for the advection, and it works perfectly fine. It actually works great. And I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it. It's pretty straightforward. Since it's higher resolution and it's doing all the advection for us, you can see that it tends to get a little more concentrated on the smoke values, because basically what it's doing is creating the velocity field and then emitting into that and advecting like normal. So if you want to make it exactly the same, you might want to add in a bit of diffusion or dissipation, because the low resolution tends to have a little more numerical errors on the advection. Or you can just fool with your rendering and display and change that. But otherwise, take low resolution simulation, hit create, run it, and there you go, pretty much. And you can cache it like normal. And once you do that, you can render. It's going to be a really crappy render, but yeah, renders like normal. I mean, it's basically a regular fluid container as far as that is concerned. And that is it. Thanks.